Hello, hello. Today is November 16th, 2022. Trading and investing of any kind carries risk. Everything discussed here is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken as financial advice, because I don't give advice. Let us take a look at the market, because, wow, we had a bit of a tug from where we were. We had this push. And a couple of days ago, I put a video together. We were kind of consolidating in here, right? We were accumulating. And I'd mentioned that for some reason, I just don't trust it up here. All right. So we had this push, and there, as most people know, there are a lot of coincidences in the stock market. And I'll just leave it at that. So I just didn't trust it. I wasn't sure what was going on. There just looked to be divergence, and there just seemed to be a lot going on in here. So we had this accumulation. We had this push up to complete that pattern right smack dab at 403.50. What is it? 403.55, which was a signal print. So we did that. We just tapped that and turned around and came back down, right? And continued that consolidation. So then we had this accumulation between 398.50 back here, which we'd put that here, right? So we had this accumulation. We pulled back into it, right? We had that news that a missile hit a thing that had landed in Poland, killed a couple people, which had created some issues. We had this pull right here, but we were already look at what was happening here. Right? I mean, there was already uncertainty. The news came out. We pulled down to here. Now, everything about that, just based upon the way the market was looking, why did we stop right here? Well, here is why we stopped here, because there's all this accumulation here. So what does that mean? Does that mean we're going to go up? I don't know. Nobody really knows that. But if you look today, we had some accumulation inside of this same area today, right? We had this 396.30, and we just have not, since we've pulled below it, we've really not been able to get up above it and stay above it. Now, maybe we will after hours. We'll see. But, I don't exactly trust what I'm seeing. There is this bigger head and shoulders pattern that's set up, right? It's almost clear as day. So if we pull below this, we could pull down pretty far, 388 maybe. Could even go further. Just depends. Ultimately, long term, I'm bearish on the market. I still think this is just a rally. Does that mean that I think we won't push higher before we have that pull to the downside? It's very possible. We've got some signals that take us further up. There are some patterns that maybe take us up here, as we talked about previously. Got this big pattern here that could take us up to 440 or so. I'm not saying we won't. I'm not saying we will. We'll have to see what happens. Nobody can predict the news. Nobody can predict what's going on. Bigger pattern. If you think about what happened in 2008, a lot of companies started laying off. A lot of companies started doing a lot of things before we really got into what was considered to be, a harder recession, where I guess the world started kind of going to hell in a handbasket. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I do believe we're kind of sitting in a recession right now. We just don't really want to admit it. We're having a bit of an identity crisis. So, that's kind of where I stand. And if we were to just look at today, trading today was just a bunch of chop. It was really just a bunch of chop. So I traded today. I also, when we hit this 403 yesterday, I bought puts. No, not, I'm sorry, 402.30. So when we hit this peak right here, I bought puts. And so I bought puts here, and I bought Tesla puts as well. But, and yay for me, it worked out. I could sit here and look through today and tell you what things might have worked and might not have worked. But if you look at this, nothing really worked today except on lower time frames. You had these small patterns that just kind of worked as they do in a choppy day. these M's and W's and head and shoulders patterns, and these M's and W's are all different kinds of harmonic patterns that are just setting up bigger patterns. Here we are above this 396.30 finally. We'll see if we stay above it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, that's really all I have. I just don't, we're just going to have to see what happens on these bigger time frames, right? I mean, here we are. We are just waiting to see what happens. Right? Do we break below this level here, pull down, right? Get some support here, kind of see what happens, maybe pull down a bit further, 385, that's possibility. Or is all this accumulation to push? And, we tried to push and unfortunately had some bad news that really slowed that down. And now we've got to continue to accumulate. The interesting thing about it is, like, there's no, I say that, I'll have to look while I'm talking, but I don't recall over the last day or two seeing any real big buying at any solid levels other than what would be a normal buying as far as accumulation goes. Let's see, 395.45 today, $460 million. That's, a million shares. 398.53, we had 2 million shares, so that's $1 billion. Yeah, it's nothing crazily out of the ordinary. If we go back to yesterday, a bit of the same, right? $1 billion at 395.01, $1 billion, and then 734 million around 398.49. So, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of where I stand. Maybe we'll continue to accumulate another day. Who knows? We'll just have to see. But yeah, that's where it is. So I like making these videos. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody had a great day. Tell your mom, tell your cousin, tell everybody about them, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I will see everybody later.